Hi everybody, my name's Kim, and even though I'm dressed completely ridiculously today, we're jumping into a very serious article. Just kidding. The article is just as silly as my outfit. I don't really know what's going on here today. Barney said I look like I'm a mixture of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Scooby-Doo, and Ed, Edd n Eddy today. I've actually never seen an episode of any of those shows. Hate me if you want, but it's the truth. So another crisis, other than the fashion crisis that happened today, another crisis that's been happening is, well, I've just felt like the prayers that I have been making to my pastor are far too vague. That's my pastor, who definitely exists and is a person that I have one of. I've been praying to him, and I've just been praying so vaguely. And I was on Twitter today, my new Twitter account that I've started using, and I found this article by the Christian Post that's called 11 Specific Ways to Pray for Your Pastor. And I was like, oh my gosh, just what I needed. I needed some specificity in the prayers that I am making. But then I started reading it, and this article gets a little crazy, so let's go for a ride here. So the first line says, we all need to pray. No, actually, we don't, but okay, let's just keep going. That's fine. Pastors specifically need prayer. Also, if you're in America, they need lots and lots of money, coincidentally. They need your prayers, but they also need lots of money and private jets. Okay, but yeah, sure. Pastors need a prayer. Then this is where it gets good. The enemy will do whatever he can to destroy the ministry of your pastors. The enemy. But I won't jump to conclusions quite yet and think that they're on to me, because let's just keep reading. And the next part says, will you consider praying for your pastors in these specific areas? And that really made me think, does anybody really consider praying? Do you sit there like, should I pray for this thing? Because I hate to break it to you, but it's not going to do anything. You can consider praying for something all you want, but if you're at the point where you're considering a prayer, just do the prayer. It'll do the exact same thing. Literally, considering a prayer has the exact same amount of actions that will happen based on that as if you just pray. It doesn't even matter what it is, just pray for it. All right, number 1 is pray for wisdom for your pastor. Great, because I've been really thinking that pastors need to smarten up. No offense to any pastors who might be watching this. I mean this all in good fun. I've known a few pastors in my life. None of them have been my pastor, which you would know if you watched my video on how I became an atheist. But yeah, I've known a few pastors. Nice people. I mean this in good fun, guys. Settle down. These leaders are often confronted with incredibly challenging situations and decisions. Are they, though? There must be more to the job of a pastor than I thought. Legitimately asking here. Don't know what challenging decisions they would have to make in their job. Please let me know if you are a pastor what you've had to do, because I would legitimately like to know. They need God's wisdom to continue to be the leader of the church God has called them to be. Okay, so God called them to be a pastor of the church, and then God did not give them the wisdom that they need to be the leader of the church. So you have to remind God to give the leader the wisdom that the leader that God chose required. Right, that makes sense. Yeah, okay. Number 2, pray for your pastor's protection. Your pastor will be attacked in so many different ways. Your pastor will be tempted again and again. The enemy seeks to destroy. The enemy wants your pastor's ministry destroyed. All right, atheists, abort the mission. Get the heck out of there. They're on to us. They know that we're seeking to destroy. and that we want the pastor's ministry destroyed. What the heck? This is some crazy fear-mongering from what I thought was just going to be like a regular sort of BuzzFeedy post of positive anecdotes. That is ridiculous. The enemy seeks to destroy. The enemy wants your pastor's ministry destroyed. What the heck? That is insane. Okay, I honestly just don't know what they mean by this, and to put that out as a message to the people reading your blog, that's kind of messed up. Like, people aren't coming to destroy you. Calm down. And also, what the heck does this "he'll be tempted again and again" line mean? By what? Maybe it's just me, but that came off as kind of creepy. Like, I don't know. I hope he's not a youth pastor. That's all I'm saying. Number 3, pray for your pastor's family. They too are attacked, criticized, and sometimes bullied. They often feel isolated and alone. They need encouragement. They need prayer. Okay, if your pastor's family are feeling attacked, criticized, bullied, isolated, and alone, they do not need your prayers. If somebody, not just a pastor's family, if anybody in the entire world is feeling that way, your prayers in the privacy of your own brain are not doing anything to help them. You know what helps people who are feeling isolated and alone? Having actual people do actual actions to make them feel not alone. What a radical idea, actually helping people instead of just sitting at home and thinking about helping them. Number 4, pray for your pastor to withstand the critics and bullies. Some of the critics and bullies are overt and aggressive. Others are passive-aggressive. All are painful, and every pastor has them. Are they talking about me? But I'm not aggressive. I'm friendly. Okay, I guess that one's nice, but again, if they're being bullied, maybe actually help them. Maybe stand up to the bullies. Maybe go and tell the pastor, hey, you can do it. Because you know what? That does a whole lot more than praying for them, which does nothing and does not inform them of the fact that you want to help them at all. Also, this is something that I see a lot in certain strains of Christianity, but there's a big difference between somebody criticizing and somebody bullying. But I see this a lot where they just get lumped together. For example, if somebody says, hey, the Bible doesn't make sense because of all of these historical facts that don't line up with it. I've seen people kind of like this who would call that a criticizer and say that there's something wrong with making that point. And there's not. There's nothing wrong with criticizing a religion. Criticizing a person, yes, but when it's just an idea, there's nothing wrong with picking apart that idea. You are not a bully for criticizing. Criticism can make you a bully, but they're not the same thing. Number 5, pray against discouragement from comparison. Before this week is over, a church member will likely tell your pastor to listen to a podcast by another pastor to learn how to really preach. Actual words spoken to a pastor. Other pastors will hear numerous comments about the other great church in the community. Your message is real and painful. You don't measure up, pastor. Oh man, that sucks that people are trying to better their pastors and recommend fun podcasts. I know what pastors should actually listen to. Maybe one of the excellent atheist podcasts that are on the internet, instead of just podcasts by other preachers. Just an idea. Also, they said that probably before this week is over, somebody would recommend a podcast to your pastor. How often does this podcast talk happen? Are podcasts huge in the pastor community? Because I didn't know about this. It's kind of funny. Oh my god, this next one. Pray against discouragement from members leaving. It's hard for your pastor not to take it personally. It's really hard when the departing member tells your pastor to take it personally. Okay. If somebody doesn't leave, they just say leave. I'm guessing that means like leave the church, but could also mean leave the religion. If somebody doesn't leave because they're worried that their pastor would feel bad, that's getting culty. I'm just gonna be real with you. That's pretty culty. People should also be free to do whatever the hell they want, and the pastor should not take it personally if somebody decides to make a rational decision with their life. 7. Pray against discouragement from decline. 2 out of 3 congregations in North America are declining. This is a painful reality for your pastor. This is a discouraging reality for your pastor. Oh, reality. That's a funny word to put there. Okay, but again, like, people should be allowed to make the decisions that they want to make. I don't think you can really argue that, like, being religious is rational. It's okay to choose to be irrational if you want to be irrational, but you can't change that, like, skepticism is rationality, and people should be allowed to make rational decisions about their beliefs and about how they want to live their life. And if that's leading to congregations declining, which it is across the world, that's okay. This isn't that bad a thing. 8. Pray against discouragement from disunity. I wish I had every minute back I had to spend refereeing church members. Those are the actual words of one of the church answers pastors I serve. The enemy loves it when church members fight one another. Who is this enemy? Legit, am I the enemy here? Is anybody who thinks anything else the enemy? I don't get what they mean. Do I like it when church members fight one another? I wouldn't say I like it when they fight, but with anybody in any belief, I do like when there's disagreements in beliefs. I think they're saying more like people not doing the tasks that they want them to do. I just kind of like drama in any situation, so I think it's funny regardless. But I don't like relish churches arguing, but I do think dispute is a good thing, especially in this kind of belief system where it's very archaic and old. I think that disputing and talking about new ideas is a really good thing. I'll be honest. And I think that they should think that too. Pray for a discernment for yes and no. Pastors are pulled in a multitude of directions. They are expected to be in so many meetings, so many social events, and so many pastoral situations. It's kind of in their name, isn't it? They are really expected to be omnipresent. Pray they will be able to say no more often. Pray for their families who often get the scanty leftovers of the pastor's time. Okay. It's almost as if it's not possible for a thing to be omnipresent, but we'll just brush over that one, I guess. Again, I would feel very sad for a pastor who is in this situation where their job is stressing them out and they're not getting to spend the time that they want to spend with their family. But you shouldn't pray for them. You should try and help them. Maybe don't stress them the hell out if this is actually how stressful a pastor's job is. I honestly don't know about pastors' jobs, so I'm not trying to be rude there. That sounds awful. If that's what you're going through, that really sucks. But, it's a tough job. Offer them support. Offer them babysitting for their children. Who am I kidding? The stay-at-home wife will be taking care of that. Oh my gosh, number 10. I didn't even read this article before I started it. I just read the first couple. Number 10 is pray for financial pressures. Many pastors are underpaid. They struggle day by day with financial challenges. Actual quote from a deacon: I like for our pastor to be underpaid. It keeps him humble and dependent on God. That deacon is enjoying a life of leisure from inherited wealth. Okay, well, I don't know who this deacon is, but the author of this really wants to jab a little knife at them. I have really mixed feelings on, like, payment for religious services like that. I don't really want to say anything about this one because I really don't know how to feel about it. But I do think if you're doing good work, you should be paid correctly for it. I guess just what I struggle with is acknowledging that somebody should be paid for work that I don't think is morally correct. And I guess they should be paid correctly. So that's maybe fair. And number 11, because there were just so many good ones on this list, we couldn't keep it to 10. We had to bump it up to 11. Pray for gospel opportunities. Pastors are energized when they have the opportunity to share the gospel. Isn't that their whole job? Unfortunately, many of them are too busy to take time to do so. The demands of the church are just too great. These pastors live lives of inverted priorities and frustrating days. Okay. I again don't know much about a pastor's job, but isn't most of the thing to share the gospel? Pretty sure that's most of it. I don't know. Okay. But again, if they're having too many demands and stuff, offer them help or you're not doing anything. That's my biggest problem with this idea of prayer in general. If somebody needs help, if you're worried for somebody, help them. Go do something about it. Offer them whatever you can. And I don't just mean saying, like, is there anything I can do to help? Although that's still better than praying. Like, actually help people who are struggling with the things that they're struggling with, instead of just sitting here, reading an article like this, doing your 11 prayers, and then moving on with your life, because that person is still going to be struggling the exact same way as they were before. Like, even if there was, I don't even like going down this train of thought because it's ridiculous, but like, imagine that there was a God who gave a shit about any of this stuff. He would just help out the pastors. He wouldn't need to pray. It's so ridiculous. Also, remember, the enemy is out to get you. Also, at the end, it says, start today, take 5 minutes of each day to pray for your pastor. Or you could sit there for 5 minutes and pray to your pastor. Or you could spend we'll say 1 minute a day. So you can catch that in at the end of the week. 7 minutes at the end of the day. Actually helping your pastor with something. Asking them if they're all right, asking them how they're doing, checking up on them, anything. Any action that you did, if you did it for 1 minute a day, would be better than 5 minutes of prayer for your pastor, which seems like they list all these things that this poor guy's dealing with, and then they're like, care about it for 5 minutes and then move on, all right? It's just stupid. That's going to be it for this video. I hope you enjoyed. I just saw this article and felt like I had to comment on it as soon as I could. This Christian Post website, I've looked at it a little bit before, but I was scrolling through today just looking at other articles, and it's super weird because a lot of what they report on is like Christian related, but a lot of it's not. So I started scrolling through the entertainment stuff, and there's articles about like Christian people doing entertainment things, and then there's just one about Rust, like coming out of early access, which is a video game, and I was like, what? Like, in Rust you run around naked and like start cults. Like, it doesn't make any sense to be on this site, but I just thought it was really funny. I'll probably read stuff from this again later because it's really funny. Alright, I said this already, but that's gonna be it for today. I will see you in the next video. Remember though, what does it say? The enemy seeks to destroy. The enemy wants your pastor's ministry destroyed. I got the line wrong. Damn it. I'm Kim. See you in the next video. Bye, everybody.